Tonight on the Northwestern News Report, fake daily fallout. Charges were dropped against the 2 students allegedly involved in the fall incident. Why the Daily's parent company says they stepped in.
Plus, new leaders. With ASG's presidential elections in the books, we sit down with the incoming co-presidents of Northwestern's student government.
And love is in the air. We take a look at how campus organizations are celebrating.
All that and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report. I'm Ananya Chug.
And I'm Logan Schijano. We begin tonight with an update on the alleged tampering of the Daily Northwestern. Since our last show, the Illinois State's Attorney's Office dropped charges against 2 Northwestern students who were allegedly distributing fake copies of the Daily this fall. The decision comes after the Daily's parent company, the student publishing company, faced pressure to intervene over 70 groups boycotting the Daily for a short time early last week. The students were initially charged with theft of advertising services, a misdemeanor, after creating parody versions of the Daily Northwestern back in October. Those copies contained a headline accusing Northwestern of being complicit in the genocide of Palestinians. The state's attorney's office telling NNN in part, quote, "Our criminal justice system should only be utilized when there is no other recourse for accountability. Northwestern University and campus police are fully equipped to hold individuals accountable, ensuring that such matters are handled in a manner that is both appropriate for the educational context and respectful of students' rights."
The SPC filed the initial complaint with NUPD in the fall. It doubled down on this decision in a February 5th letter published in the Daily, but flipped its position 2 days later. Both the current Daily Edit Board and alumni wrote letters to the SPC board objecting to the prosecution of the 2 students. SPC's chairman, John Byrne, then wrote in a February 7th letter in the Daily Northwestern that the company would ask the state attorney's office to drop the charges. In the letter, Byrne said, quote, "We have been listening to our fellow community members, and they have been heard. We understand and recognize why we need to take action. We hope to heal the hurt and repair these relationships that have been damaged and frayed by our unintentional foray into the criminal justice system." A Northwestern spokesperson told NNN that the university supports the state attorney's decision and that an internal investigation into the matter is still ongoing.
Caleb Sneed and Tyshia Woods will be the next ASG co-presidents after winning the election over the weekend by more than 20 points. Sneed and Woods, both second years, defeated Nicole Medina and Anna Alava in the election. Nearly 1,200 students voted after last year's record low turnout of just 175 students. The Sneed and Woods ticket received 59.6% of the vote, while Medina and Alava got 36.7% of the vote. 3.7% of voters voted no confidence. I spoke with both the incoming co-presidents earlier today about their victory and plans for their first few weeks in office. I'm joined now by co-presidents-elect Caleb Sneed and Tyshia Woods. Thank you so much for joining Northwestern News Network tonight, and congratulations on winning the ASG elections this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So first of all, the elections were over the end of last week. Take me through kind of when you found out that you guys were the presidents-elect, and what was that feeling like for both of you?
Yeah, we were actually at Jabulani when it was happening. So we left right when it was like 6:59, and really just waited for the results to drop. It was kind of a crazy experience because after you figure out that you go into like this
literally everyone we know, basically the entire Black community, like it was insane.
In McCormick Auditorium, and it was a really interesting experience. But when we found out, it was amazing. We came back and there was like everyone was clapping and really just like celebrating us. It was a really great moment.
You both were endorsed by the current co-presidents of ASG. What has it been like talking with them, and kind of take me through what that transition will look like for you guys?
I think the process has been really forgiving. It's been nice to have, number one, their support because we've been able to like ask them direct questions, figure out where are our gaps in knowledge. We already worked pretty closely, so like in terms of workload, the transition's pretty straightforward, but just figuring out like what admin do they talk to that we haven't been, introduced to yet and things like that. But I'm really excited. I think our transition is going to be more of like in trial and error. We try things. They're still here so they can give us feedback. So I think that structure is going to be really nice. We're all going to get to work together, which is, a huge part of our leadership, which is collaboration. So I'm really excited to keep doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and during our debate, one of the big things specifically that Caleb talked about was, being the chair of finance and securing a bunch of funding, meeting with Schill last year to secure that additional $600,000. And you said during our debate that you have an upcoming meeting with Schill to kind of talk about a similar thing. So just talk about kind of what your relationship has been like with Top-Line administration and what are some of your goals for that meeting?
Yeah. Going into the meeting, our goal is really just to communicate the same that we did last year. So we've already been talking to groups such as Mayfest, ANO, and AUDM to really gather the necessary data so that we can build a proposal. And the relationships that we've been building over the last year with the administration, Schill, Susan Davis, have really been instrumental to understanding what they need from their point of view to really make a sound decision and get student groups the funding they need ahead of time rather than later in the year like it happened last year.
Yeah. Did you do anything to celebrate the win?
Honestly, not really. We kind of just jumped right into work.
Yeah.
But we celebrated together for like 10 minutes.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ananya?
Northwestern University's Graduate Worker Union is negotiating with the university over compensation and access for international grad students. After winning coverage for dental and vision care, NUGW is calling for increasing the annual compensation from $37,000 to $48,000 annually. NU is proposing a $41,000 annual compensation. It's also calling for the university to do more to help international grad students with their visas. While NUGW has reached tentative agreements on 29 of its 33 proposals with the university, it's keeping the pressure on the university to agree to the final 4 proposals.
This is why we, the union, will have to make some movement to push Northwestern to understand our situation.
Bargaining between NU and NUGW will take place on February 21st. A strike could take place if Northwestern makes a final offer that the union does not accept.
The Ryan Field construction project will now involve Evanston's neighbors to the north. Wilmette is getting involved to ensure that residents are protected during the project. That's because of a new agreement between both towns' leadership. The agreement was officially authorized at the Evanston City Council meeting yesterday. It comes on the heels of Wilmette residents pushing town leadership to launch a lawsuit against Evanston and hold up the construction. Wilmette is dropping that threat now as agreement requires Evanston workers to decrease potential harm to Wilmette residents. Among the many provisions in the agreement, Evanston will ensure that Wilmette residents have someone on site of the construction to answer any of their concerns. Evanston will also conduct a sound study once concerts start to be held at Ryan Field, and the city will install sound measurement devices around the border between Evanston and Wilmette on Isabella Road and collaborate with Wilmette's government on potential sound mitigation efforts.
Lawsuit against the university. Fitzgerald, who was fired on July 10th over allegations of sexual hazing inside the football program, claims that Northwestern and President Michael Schill breached his contract when he was terminated. In today's hearing, Fitzgerald's attorney, Dan Webb, asked the court to set a trial date for December of this year, saying moving past the trial is necessary for Fitzgerald to return to the sidelines as a coach. Northwestern asked the court to start the trial in 2025, saying depositions will take too long to meet a December trial. And after the hearing, the court set a trial date of April 7th through the 18th, despite urging both sides to settle the case. Coming up, it's the Year of the Dragon. We take a look at how Evanston is celebrating the Lunar New Year.
And it's Evanston Restaurant Week.
This brisket sandwich and all food is 15% off at Soul & Smoke this month. 30 Evanston restaurants have similar deals for North Shore Restaurant Month.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. to me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
And with Valentine's Day right around the corner, February is renowned as the month of love. However, since 1915, February has also been the month to recognize the achievements and resilience of the Black community throughout American history. NNN's Jasmine Kim has more on how the community is celebrating throughout this month.
Evanston and Northwestern are hosting several events to mark Black History Month.
Black History Month provides a time for us to all get together to gather around our shared interests.
Northwestern's Black Poetry Society started the month with a poetry workshop, where Black students were given a safe space to practice writing in preparation for a poetry slam.
And we wanted the theme of the workshop to be self-care as a form of resistance, because we feel like as Black people we're always asked to put on a face in certain settings and kind of be on all the time. But it's really important to take some time to yourself and focus on things that you're dealing with. And poetry is just a great way to do that.
The students embraced their cultural heritage by bonding over their shared love of poetry and Jamaican foods.
Being able to be surrounded by Black folk who do feel the same way and have a lot of works to display to their peers is a very motivational and inspiring space.
The celebration of Black History Month is also reaching all ends of the Evanston community, from the Evanston Library to the History Center. There are a multitude of events for people of all ages. The Evanston History Center invited Larry A. McKellen, author of Onward to Chicago, a book about the Underground Railroad in Illinois.
Dr. McClellan is really seeking to tell different stories that haven't been told before, and that is what we want to do at the Evanston History Center, is to tell really more complete stories, new perspectives, individual stories that haven't been known before.
The sold-out event uplifted the Black community by introducing the audience to earlier freedom seekers, men and women who are Black and white. Evanstonians exploring how sharing history paves the way for a more inclusive future. Jasmine Kim, Northwestern News Network.
A full list of Black History Month events can be found on the City of Evanston's website.
Chicago Restaurant Week is over, but you can still dine at a discount during North Shore Restaurant Month. NNN's Paris Francois has more on what the month has to offer.
30 Evanston restaurants are offering deals during North Shore Restaurant Month.
We are offering 15% off for people who walk in and show us the North Shore app.
We have a wonderful menu prepared for you guys. We got a $42 prefix menu.
Fonda Cantina is celebrating its 1-year anniversary this week, but it hasn't been easy to make it this far.
To be honest with you, it's been very, very hard. It's been a little nerve-wracking at the same time. It's been very slow.
This month's discounts give Evanston restaurants a boost as owners face high rents and a slowdown in foot traffic during winter.
We get more people trying our food, and it gives people more access to restaurants, that they wouldn't normally try out.
Soul and Smoke is expanding to offer a sit-down restaurant. Chef Carter says that the mortgage to buy the building was only slightly more expensive than their unit rent was.
We think it's going to be very good for the community. We think it's very good for Evanston, and of course for all the foodies out here.
Owners are not only targeting food fanatics, they're also trying to attract new first-time customers.
If we get more businesses, more walking traffic, more people to know that we're here, I think that will help.
People just love a deal. So when we introduce those type of specials, people do take advantage of them.
And even though there are still some vacant storefronts downtown, there is progress. Evanstonians can now grab food at 2 new spots, Devil Dogs and Westtown Bakery.
I see us as a new member of this community. The sandwiches are actually delicious. The chicken salad sandwich is lovely.
Dealing out discounts and welcoming new customers. Paris Francois, Northwestern News Network.
For a full list of participating restaurants and all discounts, check out the North Shore website at visitchicagonorthshore.com.
Evanston kicked off the Year of the Dragon with the 3rd annual Lunar New Year celebration on Sunday. Allison Miller brings us a closer look.
Josina Morita is the first Asian American woman to sit on a Cook County Board of Commissioners. For her, Evanston's Lunar New Year celebration is a reminder of home.
This is celebrations that many of us are celebrating in our homes or with our own respective families, but it's also now a way to bring the broader community in to see us and to celebrate with us.
Evanston's celebration took place Sunday at the corner of Dempster Street and Chicago Avenue. Participants made crafts, joined in on music, and enjoyed a lion dance.
It's very engaging. First, there's a beat and drum, and then the lion walks around.
According to the United States Census Bureau, over 9% of Evanston residents identify as Asian alone, and Commissioner Morita says Asian Americans make up the fastest growing population in the state of Illinois.
Our community continues to be invisible and underrepresented in our city, and so this organization is really trying to do everything that it can to change that.
Friends Bo Chi and Winting Lo say the celebration increased visibility and brought communities together.
I think this is a very good event for our kids to understand some of the traditional culture of our own culture. People gather around from different backgrounds, and I hope there are more events like this.
Ringing in the new year. In Evanston, Allison Miller, Northwestern News Network.
Also this weekend, the Typhoon Dance Troupe performed at Northwestern's Chinese Lunar New Year Gala. NNN's Fiona Bolzan met with the group to learn more about their performance and upcoming shows.
The Typhoon Dance Troupe performed this weekend in Ryan Auditorium. The group aims to share a variety of traditional Chinese dance styles while also mixing in some modern influence.
The first part is, as probably our costume can tell, basically Chinese dance, and then also other kind of East Asian cultural dance. We also have another part of Typhoon, which is a popular dance group.
The group has been performing for over 10 years and has become a way for students to connect over shared culture and tradition.
Typhoon is welcoming people from different backgrounds, different countries, and also even with no prior experience, we're really welcoming it.
With many new members, some with little experience, the executive members took lead to teach others.
Also for the Heavenly Shower, I'm the tutor for that dance, so I need to teach them how to do all the movements and also choreography.
For their performance on Saturday, the group performed two different dances, one traditional dance called Scholars with Fans and another called Heavenly Showers.
The fan dance, the other dance that we have, it's originally a male dance, so this year we also have a few male members joining us, which is I think the first time in the recent years.
This performance is not the last for Typhoon this year. They will be performing again in Conn Auditorium on March 8th and will be back in Ryan for their annual spring show on March 18th. Fiona Bolzan, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Fiona. Be sure to keep an eye out for more information about the upcoming shows on Instagram at typhoon_NU. Coming up, we hit the rails for a look at how Evanston's new skate park is providing a home for local riders.
And we'll see what Evanston weather has in store for us this coming week.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
Welcome back. It's time for Under the Microscope. The Potoxnac Longevity Institute has launched a new human longevity lab to study aging within organ systems. It also investigates interventions that could reverse or slow down aging. The team will be working for the next year to enroll participants from a diverse range of ages, ethnicities, and socioeconomic backgrounds. These studies will include assessments of biological systems and profile a record of the chemical changes of the genome. Dr. Douglas Vaughn is the director of the institute. He told Northwestern Now, the key to understanding longevity is determining the relationship between how old someone is in calendar years and how old they are biologically. While anyone can enroll, the team hopes to focus on people with disadvantages when it comes to biological aging, such as HIV. The long-term goal of the lab is to launch multiple sites across the globe.
Last week, Evanstonians enjoyed sunny skies and warm temperatures. Let's hear from NNN's Victoria Ryan to see if this great weather will be sticking around.
Well, as you can see, we're still enjoying the sun here in Evanston, and for February, the temperature's not too bad either. Expect highs in the upper 30s and lower 40s this week with partly cloudy skies. And we may be expecting some rain on Thursday, so be sure to grab your coat on the way to class. Today, we saw a high of 38 with a low chance of rain, and tomorrow, expect a high of 44 with sun in the morning and clouds in the afternoon. Back to you in the studio.
Well, that good weather may mean some more action at Evanston Skate Park, which opened last month after almost 3 years of advocacy efforts. NNN's Nora DeCruz dropped into the halfpipe to tell us more.
Dad McGuire has been skateboarding since he was 8 years old, but he's never had a place in his hometown to practice.
When I first saw it, I was just like, wow.
With $1.7 million of investment from the city of Evanston and 6 months of construction, the skate park finally opened at Twiggs Park last month.
There's just a lot of people here, a lot of familiar faces you can say hi to.
Before the skate park, McGuire and fellow skaters often had run-ins with Evanston police trying to skate in a city filled with no skating signs.
It was oftentimes more just leaving spots because cops were there.
Until a group of local skaters jumped into action in 2021, advocating to city officials for a skate park.
So I remember on some of the calls, it was a little bit weird. There were people that did not want it to happen or did not want it in their neighborhood.
Tommy Alaco, one of McGuire's friends who sat in meetings, is newer to skating but now visits Twig Park often.
I live like 2 minutes away, so I just come here a lot easier.
And it has become a place for other local enthusiasts to show off their skills.
You might see some different people on bikes, skateboards, scooters, but we're all coexisting, riding together, enjoying the space together.
Nora DeCruz, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Nora. Ananya?
And if you're into thrifting, a local Black-owned business may be the spot for you. NNN's Caitlin Bender-Thomas has more on what it has to offer.
Vivian Killebrew is the owner of Stepping Out on Faith, a local consignment shop in the heart of downtown Evanston that sells a variety of marked-down clothing, bags, jewelry, and accessories for both men and women.
I've always been a thrifter. I was a thrifter when I was a young girl. My mother and I used to go dumpster diving.
With 38 years of retail experience in stores like Macy's and Marshall Fields, Killebrew says she always dreamed of owning a shop. But when her husband got sick, she put it on the back burner.
Before my husband passed away, he says to me, Vivian, you have to step out on faith. You got to believe that people will come and shop.
So in 2009, she stepped out on faith and opened up. She also began to host an event called Girlfriend Sundays, which she says is great for networking and allows customers to grab a treat, a drink, and shop.
It was so welcoming. It was such a welcoming environment.
While she typically does this on Sundays, she says if people want to come in with their friends and thrift on a different day, she's more than willing to accommodate.
I can do it Friday or Saturday evening.
Sylvia Jackson often lends a hand around the shop, and she says she not only enjoys looking through the collection, but she also values the fashion advice she gets along the way.
She's so much fun, but she also teaches me so much about like fashion and business.
And while Killebrew says foot traffic hasn't fully returned to normal since the pandemic, it's getting better each day.
Come book a party, come shopping, let's have some fun.
Forging connections through thrifting and treats. Caitlin Bender-Thomas, Northwestern News Network.
Students interested in the latest sales and events can visit their Instagram at Stepping Out on Faith Consignment. After the break, we take a look at how Northwestern student organizations plan to celebrate the Day of Love.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
Welcome back. Medill's makeover is almost complete. On Tuesday afternoon, Medill hosted an open house of the renovated 4th floor of the McCormick Foundation Center. Construction began last spring and was gifted by the Ada and Mike Feldman Philanthropic Trust and the Vega family. A student workspace, a podcast studio, brand new renovated edit bays, and most importantly, our new studio will be held on the 4th floor. The expectation is that the space will be completed by spring quarter, and we are super excited to get in there.
Valentine's Day is almost here, with many Northwestern student organizations preparing for tomorrow's festivities. NNN's Sabrina Carson shares the love spreading around campus. What's inside Northwestern students' hearts on Cupid's favorite day of the year?
Poems, serenades, and roses. They might not be Cupid arrows, but they're just some of the surprises NU students can send this Valentine's Day.
There's so many options of things to do. I love it.
It just makes like an atmosphere of love.
Different student groups play to their strengths. Literary and arts magazine Helicon is crafting free custom poems for the special day.
We have a Google form for people to fill out. We don't actually write our own poems for this. What we do is we have a selection, staff curated, of some of our staff members' favorite poems from various poets, places, and times.
These Valentines not only let students show their love, but also help fund future projects. This includes a cappella group Brown Sugar, offering $5 sugar cube serenades to students who signed up online.
We're gonna give them a list of songs. There's gonna be a mix of, there'll be English songs and there's gonna be some South Asian songs, and they'll get about like a verse and a chorus.
Northwestern's Camp Kesem is sending out potatograms, featuring Valentine's Day messages written on potatoes.
Valentine's Day at Northwestern, it's a great opportunity to show someone you care, also show an organization you care.
Camp Kesem is a nonprofit organization offering free camp to children of cancer patients. Weinberg first year and camp counselor Lauren Weiser says by sending a potatogram, you are not only sending a Valentine, but also sending a child to camp.
I think it's really, really special because you're fulfilling the dreams and like this very special program for so many kids.
Spreading a bit of warmth and love, Sabrina Carson, Northwestern News Network.
And speaking of Valentine's Day, Logan, what do you have in store?
Well, you know, Ananya, most people like to, you know, maybe go out to dinner, have some chocolates, but we actually got some raspberry dark chocolate vitamin water from NNN's very own Alexia Cadona-Browner, and I have to say, I've never had this type of vitamin water before, but should we give it a try?
We should give it a try.
All right.
Okay, ready?
What do you think?
10 out of 10.
Should we?
Cheers it?
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. I'm Logan Skijano.
And I'm Ananya Chug.
Be sure to follow NNN on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and have a good night.